Hi, welcome to KnowHow Academy. Have you ever been in a meeting where your manager says, "Can you just show me the total sales? Can you show me the total profit, the revenue? And can you please show me which region is underperforming in one quick report?" Whenever and whatever the data that we might be working in Power BI, let me give you a scenario. If you are working in a retail store as a data set, you go with sales, marketing, analysis, profit, loss, cost, unit price, list price, order date, and all these things. What about the scenario where you might be working with the financial data? You might be working with human resource data where you have to show the attrition rates, attrition per contribution, and all those things. So in whichever and whatever data you might work, it is very important for you to understand that the data will be having a numerical information and a categorical information. So many of them are getting confused in order to choose the right column for the right field, data field that you have to work upon. So for example, in x-axis you are taking a numerical data where categorical data should be there, and in y-axis you are taking categorical data where numerical data should be there. Okay, so there is a lot of confusion that every individual will have, and that's where your charts, the visuals that you are trying to show, that will have lot of mistakes in the visual perspective if we would like to talk about. So if you imagine that you are applying for any analyst job like a business analyst, yeah, data analyst, a finance analyst, risk analyst. So whatever the job that you might be working, and if the interviewers ask you that how would you visualize the KPI visuals, like if you would like to show the sales, like if you would like to show the profit, if you would like to show the revenue, if you would like to show the trends in the dashboard, so how are you going to do this? That's where your visualization or the visualization comes into the picture. Now when we are talking about the visualization, you might feel that Excel can also be used in order to visualize the data. I am right. You can use Microsoft Excel for visualizing the data, but it is not so user friendly, and Microsoft Excel is not so advanced with the facilities that Power BI is giving it to us. Power BI is an advanced thing that we have a lot of benefits in it. Power BI is something that is very user friendly, and it has a lot of unique, interesting, advanced features that it is not available in Microsoft Excel or in the competitor tool that we have it with Power BI, which is Tableau. Now, every particular tool has its own advantages and disadvantages, but the Power BI is something which has the vast chance of exploration in part of reporting, visualizing, creating a dashboard or a report. So this session where you are going to build your first dashboard with cards and chart visuals, and that's where if you are new to Power BI, your journey will truly begin from here. So in the next few minutes, we are going to build a complete dashboard with some KPI cards where we will show total sales, we will show total unit price, we will show average price. We'll create the columns, column visual. It might be clustered column chart, we create line chart, we create pie chart, we use slicer for interactivity. We do a lot of formatting, and there are many things that can be done, and that will be, we will be doing all those things in the next few minutes. So here I am using the data set called universal retail data set in order to work on this particular concept. So for that, let me show you the data, and this is the data. So if you observe here, I have the column called date Now what is this date column telling me? This date column is telling me that on which particular date the particular order, the product was, it was purchased. Product information, where we have a lot of different products, where we have mobile phones, we have shoes, we have furniture items, we have clothing, we have any electronic, we have many things, and here the product names are individually given. Here the product names are individually given, but when it comes to the category, under what category all these products come, that's where we have the category section here. If I give you a simple example, we have electronics, and electronics where we have the electronic items, such as we have TV, we have iPhone 13, we have all those things. Now when it comes to furniture, we have office chairs, we have wooden tables, right? We have office chairs. So these comes under the furniture category. And if we look into apparel, we have jeans, we have shoes, all those things. Now what we have here, we have product, we have category. How many units are sold? That's the column that units sold is telling us. And what is the price of the product? That's what we have it here. And from which region is this product coming from, or have been ordered or purchased? That data, we have it here under the region column. Now what we have to do, we have to calculate how much is my total sales of my particular business. Retail superstore, for example, this is a superstore of a retail, and I have to find out in my superstore what is the total sales I have got, being an owner of the superstore. So in order to do all these things, we will be using Power BI here for reporting purpose, for calculation, for creating dashboard, and for everything. So in order to do that, so first let's get this data into our Power BI. So in order to get that, what I'm doing, I'll come to Power BI, I will select the data source. What type of data source are we using in order to load the data into Power BI? So as you all have seen that I have the data in Excel sheet. So I am using my data source as Excel here. For instance, if you are using any other data source, let's consider CSV, if you are using a cloud, if you are using Snowflake, if you are using SQL, if you are using JSON file, if you are using Azure, if you are using whatnot. So for everything, for example, if you have SQL, that's fine, we have SQL here. If not, we can go to get data and we can select these options if you are using any one of these, or you can click on more. When you click on more, we can see that we have all these 99 plus different data sources where Power BI will accept the data from, and you can use whichever the data source you want depending upon the data that you have received from your end customer. So now I have my data in Excel. I'll click on Excel and I'll select the data sheet and I'll click on open. As soon as I click on open, it will open up a navigator box where this navigator box tells me the sheet that we have seen just now with all those details. Okay, so what you have to do, you have to click on load. So as soon as I click on load, we can see that we have the data here in our Power BI. So for you, I have kept it ready by loading it into Power BI. But there is a problem. Let me tell you what is the problem. Okay, so please identify if your data is not appropriate, you cannot work on a visual. Okay? You cannot show the false information to the end user. That's very important. If you now look into the raw data that we have it, look towards the date column. How is this date column? Year, month, date and time. But we have year visible, we have month visible, we have date visible, we have time visible, though it is 00, but the time is visible. But what's happening when I load that data into my Power BI? We have some numeric number. we have some whole number here. How did we get this whole number? It was a date. So for this, what we have to do, we have to go and convert the data type and get the right data type for the right column. Then we can come and work on the visuals. So in order to do that, I'll come to home and I'll go to the transform data. When I click on transform data, you can see that the data type that we have it for the date column is whole number 1, 2, 3, 4. The numbers whatever we had. Those comes under the whole number. Alright. So now the point is we have to convert this data type. So when I click, I want in a date. I know that the column here, it is having the time, but everywhere you see the time is 0 only. So what I'll do, rather than going with date and time, I would like to convert my existing column date, which is in the wrong data type. I want to convert it into date data type. It is asking me, I would like to replace the current one? Yeah, I would like to replace the current one. That's where I would like to go with replace current. You can see that now the whole number data type which was there for the date column, now it is converted into the date data type. Our date are clearly visible and specific here. So now it's done. I'll click on close and apply. As soon as I click on close and apply, all the changes that we have done, that will be applicable here in our particular Power BI. Now you can see that the date column is having a date data type. That's perfect. Now, my dear viewers, it's point for us to go and calculate total sales. So now, directly going and calculating, before that, let me give you a small scenario or a situation in a real time how you would like to use it in the application part. So let's consider that you want to calculate total sales. When you want to calculate total sales, first we should have a sales column. Am I right? If I use sales column by using the DAX function sum, by having the DAX function sum, I will use the column called sales. That's where I will get my total sales. So now what happens? You do not have a sales column. In order to use sum function, you should have a sales column, but sales column is not there. So what you have to do? You have to do that. So let me show you. I'll click on a new column. Here I'll take sales. I'll take the column name as sales equal to, what is the formula? The units sold multiplied by unit price. That's my formula. I'll click on enter. So I have got sales. Now it is easy for me to calculate total sales, right? Because in order to use sum, because sum is a column level aggregation. That's very important, that you have to understand. Sum is a column level aggregation. When I'm telling you a column level, a column has to be physically present in order to use it. I will go with new measure here, and I am going to take the measure name as total sales equal to sum as it adds all the numbers in a column. The name itself we have in the column. So what is the column name? I want to calculate sum of sales. Sum of sales. Let me show you. For that, I would like to choose my KPI card. I will take total sales. It is 983K. Now I will tell you another scenario. How many steps you have got in order to get your total sales? First, you have to choose a new column. Then you have to calculate sales. Then you have to take a new measure. Then you have to go and use sum function. Then you are going to get your total sales. 4 steps are involved. How many? 4 steps are involved. Let us reduce it into 1. In one go, I want to get it. I don't want to have all these headache. I would like to get the solution in one particular expression. How should I do that? That's where your concept of X functions will come. X functions are nothing but row level aggregation. So sum, it is calculating in a column level. X functions, they are calculating it in a row level aggregation. We have a lot of X functions, we have sum X, average X, min X, max X, product X, so all these things. Let's work on that. I have taken total sales equal to sum X. Sum X, what it is telling? It returns the sum of an expression evaluated for each row in a table. So what is my table name? My table name is sheet 1, comma. Now what is my expression? It is unit sold multiplied by unit price. This is my expression. So now I did not have sales, I did not have anything. Now directly I will take a card and I will calculate total sales. I'll get 93k. It's very simple. Okay. So understand the difference. Sum X. For sum, that's a column level aggregation. Sum X, it's a row level aggregation. For sum, whatever the column you are trying to take under the expression, that column should be physically present. But for sum X, that's not required. Now in the same way, if you want to calculate total units, we have units sold. I want to find how many number of units, total units my particular products were sold. For that, I'll choose a new measure. I'll go with total units. Total units equal to sum of units sold. I'm doing sum because we have units sold column which is already available. So now if I take the card chart, I would like to show the total units. My total units are 2801. So let me remove this one. Okay, total sales, total units. Now it's fine that I have got total sales, I have got total units, I have got total price and all these things. But here we have to understand one thing, that we have a column called unit price and I want to find out what is the average price that I have. So in order to do that, what I am doing, I am choosing a new measure. In this new measure, I am writing the measure name as average price, which I would like to calculate. The DAX function itself is average. What is the column name? We have column which is physically present, which is unit price. Okay, that's where our average unit price will come into the picture. So now I am choosing a card chart, and in this card chart I am going to use my average price. This is my average price. So now which metric do you think it matters the most? Sales, units, or average price? That you have to understand. Okay. So we have got and we have used the KPI cards. Let's go and work on the column chart. And I'm taking clustered column here. I'm taking clustered column here. So in this clustered column, I would like to show for each category how much sales I have got. So now you can see that the values are in millions. I'll go to the formatting. I did not do formatting for any of the visual, but just I'm changing the values as into thousands, because millions we cannot able to understand anything, right? So what I'm trying to do, I'll go and switch on the data labels. That's number one. As you can see that the data labels are also in millions. I'll go to y-axis, I'll go to values. Okay, I'll make it bold, increase the size to 10, make it black, and I'll make it thousands. Now you can see that the data labels are also in thousands. The rest of the formatting let us do later on, but let's focus on the next visual that I'm going to tell to you, which is sales over months. For each month, how much sales I have got. That's nothing but the trend that you have to show. That's where you go with the line chart. date. In the y-axis, we will go and choose sales, total sales. Okay, we have got total sales. Now I'm going to choose another visual which is called as pie chart. If you want to see the values in the terms of percentages with level of category less than or equal to 5, then we can go with this one. I'll go region in the legend and I'll go total sales in the values. I have got the answer. Now let's do the formatting. So for formatting, what I'm trying to do, I'm selecting the first card chart that I have. Okay. So for this, what I'm doing, I'll off the category label. Category label is nothing but the name that you are seeing total sales here. So I will off the category label. I will on the title. I'll keep it as total sales. So now total sales, I'll font style, I'll make it bold. I'll increase the style to, increase the size to 16. Text color, I'm making it white so that I can make the background color black. And I am aligning this into the center. Title is done. I'll come to the size and style. I'll add the border. I'll make the rounded corners for the visual 15 points and the width like this. Perfect. Now let me tell you the common mistake that generally people will do is that you go and waste a lot of time in formatting every visual. Do not do that. You format only one visual perfectly and try to use format painter. So for this, what I'm doing, I'll select the visual which I have formatted. I'll click on format painter. I'll click here. That's it. Very simple, very easy. And what is this? This is total units. We have to just go and add our title. Total units. I'll format the same and I'll change the title name as average price. Perfect. Now the same way I'm going to format this one as well. The problem is the x-axis and the data labels are not matching with the size and style of the y-axis. Let's make it equal. That's very important. So for this, what I'm doing, I'll go to the x-axis. I'll make it bold. It's 10. I'll make it black. The title, I'll make it bold. Perfect. The y-axis, the title of it, I'll make it bold. Now it's easier. Correct. I'll come to the grid lines which I do not want to see. If you can observe, we have some grid lines here. Let me show it. We have some grid lines here. Okay. We are not going to have these grid lines because that doesn't appear well. It's not mandatory. If you want, you can have it. It's your choice. Okay. All right. So now what I'm doing, I'm removing these grid lines and I'll come to the data labels. I'll make sure the values that I'm choosing, those are bold and the size 10 with the color black. This looks perfect. If you want, you can even go and change the column colors. I'll go to columns. I'll go to the electronics first. I'll choose this color. Okay. Then I'll go to furniture. In the furniture, I'll choose this color. And apparel, the same thing. Okay. So now in the same way, I'm formatting my line chart as well. Okay. In the same way, I'm formatting my pie chart as well. Okay. Now look into it. It's very interesting. It's very clean. It's very clear. That's what you have to understand. Okay. I'm making sure that the gap between every particular, the space between every particular visual should be same. Now this is interesting, but how should you make it interactive? That's where I'm going to use a slicer here. That's where I'm going to use slicer. So in this slicer, what I'm doing, I'll just format this one. So in this slicer, what I'm trying to do, I'll choose region and I will remove the slicer header and I will add the title as region. All right. So now if you observe, if I click on east, in every visual we can see that we can able to get only the east information. North, north information, south, south information, west, west information. Okay, so we have made it very attractive that always will be helpful for the end user. For example, if I want to see an information which is not available directly as a visual in Power BI report or dashboard which you have prepared, then I will go and use the question and answer chart. Then I will use a slicer, whichever is convenient. I will choose on that, I'll select it, I'll get to know my required information. That's the very important thing that you should have it as part of a report. And we generally suggest to have 3 to 4 card charts and 2 to 3 minimum slices that you need to have it in your particular report or dashboard. That's very important. So in the real world use cases, you can show the weekly, you can track it, the weekly performance of your particular data. If you want to review if your managers want to review the KPIs of your dashboard, you can use this. If you're attending any interviews and all, you can impress your panelists by showing the dashboards that you have created. You can tell the stories about the data, and if you want some templates regarding the same, you can use this as a reference. This will be always helpful whenever you're working at. So my dear viewers, today in this particular live session of Power BI, we have learned how to load the data into our Power BI, how to use the KPI cards where we have shown sales, units and average price. We have used some visuals where we have worked on discussed this column charts. We have used the line charts, we have used the pie charts. Okay, we have used the slicer. The very important thing, the DAX function that we have used, the new column and the new measure. Why sum, on what basis we have to use sum, and what is SumX and sum, the difference between them, what are the different types of X functions, what exactly X function defines. So how we have to do the formatting for a visual, the importance of formatting the visual with all these things we have worked on Power BI. And one thing you have to understand, that many of them, they try to fit lot of visuals in one page. If it is not getting it, do not worry, you take another page. If not, what you can do, you can increase the size of your canvas. So the dotted lines that you are seeing here, that's your canvas. If you want to increase the size, you can do that. You go to canvas settings, you go and change the custom. You can adjust the height and width as per your convenience, whichever you required. You can even go and change the background color of this particular visual, the canvas. That's very important. Something like this. Your particular dashboard looks very beautiful when you have a very light color in the backgrounds and with the darker color in the visuals. That is very much attractive. Don't make your report or dashboard in a rainbow way, which is very disgusting to look into it. It should be very professional, it should be very readable, it should be very clearly visible, and it should be understandable. That's how we have to it. And this particular video's dataset that we have used and the PBX file, you can get it from the description of this video link below. So thank you for choosing KnowHow Academy as your source for IT knowledge. We are always here to help you to navigate the tech world. If you have any questions, do not hesitate to reach out. It's been a pleasure sharing this information with you. Stay curious and keep learning.